Have you ever had a conversation that you kept thinking about long after it was over? I've had 3 of those lately. They were all with young women in their 20s. One was in her late 20s, married, and has 2 young boys. They were all completely separate conversations, yet they had one thing in common. They weren't talking about their relationships or their career. They were concerned and talking about aging. That surprised me a bit. They were wondering if they would stay healthy enough to travel, if they'd lose their independence someday, and if they'd be able to have children later in life. They were also thinking about what if illness or disease showed up a lot earlier than they hoped. I don't remember having those conversations when I was in my 20s. I don't know, maybe we did, but I can't remember having them. Possibly because there wasn't social media back then. So maybe we thought about it occasionally, but it wasn't right in our faces like it is now. Facebook didn't start until 2004, and then YouTube 2005. I think Bree was 6 or 7 years old. So these conversations got me thinking about the greatest gift that we can give our children, our adult children. And now maybe you're like, I don't have any children, Clarinda. Just stay with me, because we all have someone in our life that's younger that's looking up to us. They're watching how we live. It could be a child, grandchildren, a niece or nephew. Maybe it's a friend that's just a generation behind you, or a coworker. And I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm talking about the greatest health gift that we can give our adult children. I still believe our spiritual life, our faith, is our greatest hope and wealth. It's where I believe our eternal riches, joy, and peace of mind are found. Today, though, I want to focus on the mental, the emotional, and physical health, not only for ourselves, but the things we can work on that's also going to help those we love and those who are watching us. I've also been thinking about hope, and hope changes as we go through various stages in life. When we're younger, hope sounds something like, I hope I can get a job that I really love and that's going to allow me to do this, this, and this. I hope I find the love of my life and marry. Or I hope I can buy my own home someday. As we get older, we evolve more to, I hope I can stay independent. I hope I can travel. I hope I'm going to be around for my kids. I hope I have enough money and independence for retirement. So really, the stage and emotion of hope stays the same. It just changes, again, depending on what life stage we're at. One thing that's been encouraging me lately is young adults seem to be looking at their life and health through a different lens than what we did when we grew up. Not all of them, of course, but it's enough that it's got my attention. Recently, my niece Haley, the one that's 29, I believe, and has 2 boys, we were talking, and just as the conversation evolved, it gave me hope for this next generation for sure. With permission, I get to share it with you. She said that growing up, the message she received was, you diet, you restrict your food, all for the purpose of the number on the scale coming down. Foods were considered good or bad. Today, she's intentionally creating a different experience that's going to have a ripple effect on her family. Instead of thinking mostly of what she can avoid, she's thinking about what she wants to add to her nutrition. Foods that give her more energy and support her immune system. Foods that are going to keep her healthier for the long term. I loved hearing that because her motivation is more her inspiration from within. She wants to make her body healthy. She wants to give herself things that's going to help rather than hinder. She isn't trying to punish or restrict her body. She's just trying to nourish it. She also laughed when she told me that she didn't like exercise before. And I immediately remembered her and her friend showing up at a 6 a.m. boot camp. That was at least 10 years ago. And I was so proud of them for showing up because that's early for a teenager. But they were also dying. Well, maybe not dying, but they definitely weren't enjoying it until it was over. But hey, at least they showed up. And like I said, I was darn proud of them. Now she loves getting up early in the morning and getting out for a walk while her husband's still there to watch the boys. She said it just helps her mentally, emotionally, and physically, and can't imagine not doing it. That's her time for herself. That's her quiet time. And she loves the energy that it gives her when she gets out and moves her body that early. She also bought my 12-pound weighted vest. So that was a fun conversation to have when she came to pick it up, as I was telling her about moving into the 15-pound one. And again, it's encouraging because you know that those behind us are watching. If we can inspire them, if we can encourage them, then we are making a difference. And here's a little fun fact. I asked her, I said, what year were you born? And it was 1996. Bree was born in 97. So Brianna is Gen Z, and she is a millennial. But she said often they are referred to as zillennials because of the year before, and they share so much of the same experiences. I had never even heard of that term before. Have you heard it? And by the way, if you're listening to this for the first time, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm Clarenda Price, the host of this Feel Light, Mind, and Body podcast. I was a nurse for 21 years, personal trainer for 16 plus years, and now I love getting to work as a life and weight loss coach. I help successful women lose weight in a way that lasts, that goes beyond simply food and exercise. We work on the mindset, habits, and some of those invisible thoughts that just seem to make it so much harder to lose weight. It doesn't need to feel or be that hard. This is weight loss simplified. But if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you'll know that what I'm really passionate about isn't just losing weight. It's about helping women feel more alive, have more energy. I want to help them have more freedom in choice. I love to help them create more choice in their lives and confidence, because that affects every part of our life. And that's what these conversations reminded me of with the young women. They weren't talking to me about their number on the scale. They were talking about their hope for the future. And more than money, it was their health. They wanted to know that they were going to be able to do all the things that they want to be able to do. We've said some of them: traveling, adventures, taking care of their family and friends. They want to continue to make more memories and enjoy life. That brings me to another conversation. This was one with my daughter Bree when I was in Toronto. And she said most of the Gen Zs, her age, they are concerned about aging. I said, really? They're already thinking about that? You're already thinking about that? She said, yeah, we want to make sure that we can do everything we want to do. She said, if we marry later in life and we have children, will they be healthy? You know, those are some pretty heavy things to be thinking about at 28 years old. But what was also really a concern is thinking about parents. What if their parents get sick? What if they die? What if they suddenly have to take care of them? How will it feel to watch them lose their independence? Well, you can guess, again, if you've been following me, I felt that one. I knew that feeling right away. Caring for my parents through their transitions in life, that really changed the way I view life now and my health. My parents gave me so much love, but they also unintentionally gave me a lot of lessons that I'm learning ahead of time of how I want to take care of myself and how I want to be able to take care of others. Bree told me that she was grateful that I had taken care of my health because she wasn't worried about that for me. And that meant a lot, probably more than what she realized. I told her one of the reasons why I work at staying healthy and make choices to make sure that I am is because I don't want to be a burden to her. I don't want my choices today to interfere with her dreams for tomorrow, if there's anything at all I can do about it. Now, none of us has a crystal ball. There's no guarantee that living a healthy lifestyle will exempt you from illness. We all know wonderful people who ate well and exercised and got their sleep and still are facing health challenges. Genetics plays a role and life happens. But we also know that research shows that we can do things to help prevent that from happening. It will give us a better chance to make sure that we stay healthy. For example, cardiovascular health. They are influenced by the way we live. We can't control everything, but we can definitely have an influence on it. To me, that's hopeful. It's not about trying to control the future, but it's about giving ourselves the best chance possible. As Brie and I were talking, I thought back to a conversation that we had, and we actually recorded it about 2 years ago when I was visiting. We talked about healthy habits we had accumulated over the years, as well as our relationship with food. So I listened to it again, and I think it will be valuable. So I will share that again next week. It was interesting to see how our conversations have evolved just in those 2 years. After I returned home, another beautiful young woman shared something with me. She said she was being vulnerable, but that it was okay to share in the podcast. I had mentioned that I'd had a couple of other conversations with people her age and their concerns. So I want to read exactly what she said in her message to me. To live meaningfully is to sit with truths, no matter how scary or sad they can be. Even when I was younger, I felt like I wouldn't witness myself grow old. I thought I would outgrow that feeling, but somehow it has stuck with me to this day. More so after my grandmother died of cancer in 2019, my worst heartbreak of all time. But it also became a source of fear and anxiety because, one, there's a possibility of inheriting it, and two, all my life I've been told I resemble her. What if we share the same storyline? She was only in her mid-60s when she passed. But if God and the universe give me the chance to reach my 50s, I'm 57, soon, I hope I live it actively. My mind and body are still capable of creating memories by traveling, doing fun activities I can afford with time and money, and witnessing my best self in that age range. I hope I'll be healthy enough to take care of my parents and squeeze every bit of chance to give them all the best things this life can offer before they leave me and my sister. Also, I hope I won't be dependent on meds in my 50s. I wouldn't want to go out that way. Whew. I mean, when I read that, I just thought, that's a lot to be carrying around. This conversation is still fresh, so I want to sit down with her and have a conversation about this. I have a feeling there's even more fears underneath, but having the conversations is going to help the younger generation. There is hope, and I want them to live with that hope and also do the things that they can do right now to create the future that they want. As you're listening, maybe you're noticing something. None of these young women talked about wanting to be skinny or to fit into a certain size dress, although there's nothing wrong with that. They talked about living a vibrant life. They didn't want to just live and exist. They wanted to live life fully and enjoy. They want to feel confident and reassurance that they can continue to be healthy and live a long life. They want to know they have the strength to continue to do the things that they want to do. Being there for those that they love is very important to them, just like it is for us midlife women. Staying independent was also a common theme. And I think when we strip it all down, that's what we all want. The kind of independence that means not that you don't need anyone else, but that you can do things for yourself as needed. Brie and I also talked about my parents, her grandparents. She has such beautiful memories of them. She remembers them reading to her, taking her out to eat, and just pouring so much love onto her. But she also remembers that they always seemed to be tired. They were low on energy and had naps often. They weren't physically active with her. And she also witnessed some health scares. Dad with his diabetes, and then Mom as well. That wasn't criticism. That was just simply remembering what she had experienced. As she was talking, I suddenly thought back to when she was probably 6 years old, and my mom, her Grammy, had had a mini stroke at age 63. she had colored a picture to take to Grammy. So Mom was doing quite well at that point. So we went to see her at the hospital. And I can just remember Bree sitting there so quietly and just those big eyes, just taking it all in. She was worried about losing her special Grammy. And Mom had had high blood pressure, and I remember her doctor had been really concerned because she was having a difficult time to release the weight that she was carrying around. I also found myself talking to her about what it was like when I was in university and my mom turned 50. And I actually have a picture of that after I threw a surprise birthday party for her. And I remember when I turned 50, really having that reflection time. Because when Mom turned 50, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, she is so old now. And so when I turned 50, I really had some introspective time and made some decisions. I knew that I didn't want my story to be her story. As we know better, we do better. As we learn more, I think there's a more of an expectation for us. I decided I want to continue to feel fit and also look fit. I wasn't chasing some unhealthy, unreasonable standard. I just wanted my inside to reflect out into my outside. I knew I wanted to maintain my strength. I wanted to feel capable and be healthy. Looking back, I have to admit, I've let some of those healthier habits, maybe the frequency of them, slip. And I don't want that to continue. I've already been making some progressive changes, and I'm also having compassion because life was full. It was hard at times. I went through some hard seasons, from the divorce to Dad's dementia. That was a slow grieving process for 5 years before he passed. And then Mom, she's 13 years in. Hers isn't as fast as what Dad's went, but there's been a lot of changes. Also lost my brother-in-law. But there's also been some amazing things happen in life. So that's life, right? The balance of it all. So maybe you too have been through something. You've gone through a hard phase. Don't give up. There's always now. And use whatever it is that was weighing you down or discouragement as inspiration to make the needed change that you want now. So the conversation with Bree was really a gift. It reminded me that I don't want to drift. I don't want to become nonchalant or take for granted my health. It reminded me of why I started the healthy lifestyle in the beginning. I want to be very intentional because for me, it's not trying to live to 100 and be in a nursing home. I've seen that. That's not great. I want to be able to live the life that's been given to me in the fullest way possible. And I realized something else. Whether we realize it or not, someone we love is watching. As I sat with these conversations over the past couple of weeks, I came to the conclusion that I think the best, or at least one of the best, health gifts that we can give our children, our grandchildren, or any other younger people in our lives is to let them watch us take care of ourselves. I've noticed as a society, we tend to swing to the extremes. Either we're taking care of everyone else, or we're leaning into what culture is telling us to just think about ourselves, just worry about ourselves and take care of ourselves. I don't think either extreme is healthy. I think there's a balance, and interestingly enough, a balanced life means a balanced nervous system. I think healthy living finds that middle ground. Because as we take care of ourselves, we're more apt to be able to show up and take care of others. I also think when we let them see us taking care of ourselves, we're giving them hope. Hope that getting older doesn't automatically mean you're slowing down. Hope that life can still be full of lots of adventures, making memories, spending time with people they love, having the energy and the capacity to do the things they want to do. Let's give them evidence that they can stay active for as long as they want to. Life doesn't have any guarantees. So that's why I think it's even more meaningful when we can make the most of every day that we've been given. The younger people in our lives don't need us to be perfect or have all the answers, but they do benefit from us continuing to learn, grow, and take care of ourselves. One day, they'll tell stories about us, just like Bree did about her grandparents and even me. Maybe you're already thinking about someone in your family and thinking, what will they tell about me someday? Here are a few other thoughts and questions for you to think about as we wrap this up. Why not ask your children or grandchildren what they hope life looks like as they get older? Do you know what your children or grandchildren are concerned about themselves and also for you? And what are you hoping for as you think about your future? I'm 56 now. I'll be 57 in a couple of months. And one of the things that I hear frequently from the women I work with is that they're not fighting aging. They're not scared of aging, but they are concerned about what will that look like for them. Will they have inflammation? Will they be able to do the things that they really love? They want to continue to travel. They don't want to be restricted when they're traveling. They want to be able to keep up with their family and not hold them back. They want to continue to garden, to shop all day with a friend or their daughter, to be able to get down on the floor and play with their grandchildren and then get up without it being a big deal. They want to feel comfortable in the clothes and style that they prefer. They want to reduce their cardiovascular health risk, protect their joints, maintain their muscle so that they can carry their own groceries or get a box down off the shelf and not be fearful that they're going to hurt something. They want to sleep better, feel stronger emotionally, mentally, and physically, and have more confidence. And yes, many of them would like to see that number on the scale come down, along with their cortisol and inflammation. Those are all perfectly good goals. Notice, none of those goals are really a vanity number. They're about the life that number on the scale can help support. That's science that we can't argue with. And finally, is one of your desires to preserve the life that you're living now so that you can live it fully while also giving your children peace of mind? And would it help to have a safe, non-judgmental space to talk some of this through, to think about where you are now and where you want to go and what the very next step could be for you? If it would, I'd love to meet with you on Zoom. I offer a 20-minute complimentary consult where we talk about you, your goals, your challenges, or anything else that you want to share. I'm taking a little vacation time this month, but I will put the link in the show notes because there's still availability remaining right now, so you can go on and find which slot would work best for you. And whether you decide to make a change this month or wait for the next month, just knowing that you've made that decision will give you some ease and peace of mind. I hope one thing from today's conversation stays with you. Someone who loves you is always watching. And sometimes one conversation can really change the direction of the family. If someone came to your mind as you tuned in today, I encourage you to share it with them. It can also make for a really meaningful conversation later. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And until next week, take good care of yourself.